Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So for today's head-to-head comparison, we are going to take a look at the 2024 BMW X5 xDrive40i and the 2024 Audi Q5. These are both virtually identical. They have a lot of similarities. They also have a lot of differences as well, and there are multiple different trim levels that you can get for both of these luxury brands. So let's start off today's review with the starting MSRPs for both of these SUVs. For the BMW X5, they start right around $66,500. For the Q5, they start around $74,000. So right off the bat, the Audi is a little bit more expensive. However, when you go to top trim level X5s, that will be more expensive than the Audi. For today's review, we have one right at $79,082. So again, virtually identical. But let's move on to the power plants for these. For the X5, this has a 3-liter turbo inline 6 with the hybrid motor assistance. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and pumps out 375 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque. For the Q5, this has a 3-liter turbocharged V6, again with the hybrid motor assistance, 8-speed automatic, pumps out 335 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. So a little bit less than the X5. Both of these have a full-time 4-wheel drive system. We have very similar curb weights, 4,900 pounds for the Audi and 5,000 pounds for the BMW. 0 to 60 is going to be 5.3 seconds versus 5.7. And as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 23 miles per gallon in the city and 27 for the X5, and then 18 and 23 on the Audi. And then for the towing figures, both are right around 7,700 pounds, which is very interesting to see. But let's work our way to the exterior styling now for both of these SUVs. For the X5, there's the kidney grille, forward-facing camera with sensors. This also has adaptive cruise, all of the LED lighting. This particular model has the M Sport package, so everything is blacked out. You can get chrome, which would match the front end of this Q8, where we have a forward-facing camera, all the sensors, plenty of cutouts, and then LED lights as well. Now the Q8 also has headlight washers versus none on the X5. We have very nice lines coming down both hoods though. So really just depends on your style and what you like. I think they both have a distinctive front end look and just a personal preference with the headlight design that you like or the cutouts and just the overall shape of this SUV. Now, as we work our way to the sides, again, you have multiple different options that you can go with. So for the BMW with the M Sport package, red brake calipers, very nice wheel in my opinion. I think we have a great wheel for the Audi too. Now they both have power folding side mirrors with the turn signals and the cameras. And then as we work our way to the Audi, you can actually see we have a roof rack installed for this model, along with the full moonroof, roof racks there of course to hold it in place. We have roof racks for this and the full moonroof as well. So technically you could add a roof rack to the X5 if you wanted to. And then looking at the rest of their side profile differences, very, very similar sort of. We have a line that goes right through the door handles for both. Fender arches, which are a little bit distinctive. There's a trim accent just behind the front tire on the BMW, and a little bit different of a design for the lower side skirt there. You will also notice too that the Audi has a little bit more of that sportback design with the curve of the rear glass, versus on the X5 it is a lot more upright. Now you can go with an X6 if you'd like, or an X4 that gives you a little bit more of that sloping rear glass. And then let's work our way to the rear. So on the X5, third brake light along with the wiper blade, LED taillights, backup camera, all of the sensors too. This also has remote start, so you can use the key fob and triple tap on that. And then let's move on to the cargo space. Now the X5 is iconic for having the split tailgate design, and personally I'm a huge fan of it. You basically have a seat that you can use if you're tailgating or something like that. And then in back, you have some auxiliaries there. You even have a lot of storage underneath the floor to place in any additional items that you may need. We have the cover, back seats will fold down too. So it's pretty spacious and functional. And then with one push, you can close both of those. Now, as we work our way to the Audi, we have the same design with the third brake light and the wiper blade, backup camera, all the sensors. A little bit different of a design for the lower section. And then all new for 2024, Audis now have the capabilities of remote start. You can't do it on the key fob though. You have to have the Audi app in order to do that. But regardless, you can get remote start now, which is very competitive. Now in the back, we have the solid rear liftgate, so there's no lower section. So as you can tell right now, you have the paint exposed versus putting that back down. So a little bit different of a design, just depending on how you are using your vehicle. And then underneath, we do have a spare tire, which was missing in the X5. You could use this maybe for additional space if you need to. There's also some storage nets. We have the cover, back seats do fold down. So honestly, very, very similar, but let's move on to the back seats now. You can unlock this using the back door handles. So there we go. And then you will notice that we have the privacy shade, which is automatic. So you have to use the window controls in order to do that. Looks like we have a little bit of a storage cubby behind that. We have the Bang & Olufsen, a little bit of storage down below. And then when we hop into these back seats, you can actually slide them forwards and backwards. So if you need a little bit more cargo space, that is an advantage if you have people in the back, which is nice. And at 5'10", I have about an inch or so above my head. We can recline these seats slightly too. Right in the middle, there are 2 cup holders, and then you can fold this middle seat down individually if you would like to. And then we have all the climate adjustments down below, along with some auxiliary storage pockets. It's a nice place to be. You'll notice too that the sunroof stops about the front of these back seats. So take note of that once we hop into the BMW. But I don't have any complaints with that. Very spacious. As we work our way to the X5, I believe the back seats are locked. That is a setting that you can adjust. So you can actually unlock all 4 door handles. But you'll notice no privacy shades for the rear here, but we have some very nice materials, interior ambient lighting on this package. And then we have the white interior. Now these seats do not recline. So that is something that X5s used to do. It is interesting to see that they don't. But I have about the same amount of leg room. Seats are fixed, so they don't slide either. We have a little bit of storage in the center armrest in addition to those cup holders. And then just like the Audi, you can fold that middle seat down. There are additions. You can place a tablet here and charge it, which is pretty cool. We have heated rear seats for this, additional storage space, and some more auxiliaries. And then that sunshade goes all the way back to about the headrest in here. So it's a lot larger than over on the Audi. So a few similarities, few differences, which is nice to see. But let's work our way to the front now. We'll start off with the X5 here. This model, you can actually get massaging seats, which is missing on this. You can adjust that front passenger seat by using the controls on the driver's side there. We have all the controls that you would normally see on the door panel. And I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. I have done full reviews on the X5s, so if you want to see greater details, be sure to check out those full reviews. But we have storage space, we have cruise control, we have the paddle shifters there, all of your headlight adjustments. You have a few things that you can go through on the digital gauge cluster here. So there's a little bit of content, a few different layouts, and then even a head-up display that you can adjust to. And then we have this large curved screen, again, where you have a lot that you can go through. You have so many different apps, including Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have your ambient lighting, and then you have additional shortcuts to your music, phone, nav, and all of the climate adjustments. Now, a lot of people are not a huge fan of this new screen. Personally, I think it's nice, but if you're not a fan of that, you can get the older tech where we have the split style there. There's ambient lighting on that passenger side. We have some audio adjustments, wireless charging, cup holders, really nice wood trim accents. You can use that screen with all the shortcuts down below. Let's take a look at the camera system real quick. Since we have that 3D view, you can even pull that up, and now you can look around the entire vehicle. We have parking sensors, different driving modes too. So you can go into sport, comfort, or eco. A little bit of space in the center armrest there. We have the glove box too. So it's a nice place to be. I really like this new interior. And of course, all the materials are just based on your preference. You can get carbon fiber, you can get some other accents too. And as we move on to the Q8 now, very different design for the door panel with a little bit more exposed for these controls here. But these mirrors are heated too, which is pretty neat to see. And then let's fire this one up. where right off the bat you can tell a big difference. So we have the dual screen setup in the middle, paddle shifters for this. You have a good bit of info that you can scroll through, and you can even make things larger too if you want. Check out that nav there, front and center. So about the same configurabilities. We do not have a head-up display though for this model, but we do get the adaptive cruise. You get a similar amount of space on that left side there. And then with this center screen, I have showed this in some other Audi reviews. Just depends on, I think, what you like better. Now there's no adjustments, so this is only a touch screen, but you have everything that you basically have on the BMW. So it's virtually identical, just with a few different settings, things like that. We have that haptic feedback, different driving modes like you saw on the X5 there. And then we have all the climates down below. So rather than being a large giant screen like in the X5, it's split into two. So all these functions down below get you to your heated and ventilated seats. You have garage door buttons, downhill assist, engine start stop, and then you can even gain access to all of the climates. If you push on these though, you can get into the rears. That is one thing on the X5 that is missing. You cannot adjust the rear climates from the front seats, which I think is an absolute must to see. And then we have a few other controls down below, shortcuts to those drive selects. We even have the camera system, so let's just take a look at that. Very different from the X5, but it still gives you that 3D view, which of course is nice to see. Then we have your volume. We have a few tech features that you can go into as well for your driver assistance, which is in the X5 as well. You have your shifter, which is a little bit different. We have the e-brake, cup holder storage, and then wireless charging is moved to the center armrest. So instead of it being there like in the X5, it's in there. And then you can even adjust the center armrest there for your comfort. And then the glove box seems to be fairly large. Let's take a quick look at visibility, which we didn't do in the X5, but we have that pillar there with large windows on both sides, so you can easily see over both shoulders. And then jumping into the X5, it seems to be a little bit longer, but you have that window right there as well, which is larger than in the Audi. So kind of the same, just a little bit different points you may have to look. As we set off in the Audi, we are in dynamic in the sport mode setting. Here we go. And we're up to speed pretty quick in the shifts as well. Not all that loud either. So we don't have any adjustments for the exhaust note. So it's fairly quiet for this luxury focused SUV. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you can go with some higher trim levels. So you can go with the SQ8 or the RS Q8 if you want even more performance. So for the Q8 that we are in right now, this is what it's like to be behind the wheel. I think we have a very nice interior. There's leather on the dash. It's interesting that we do have plastic on the door panel there, so it doesn't flow with the dash there. But regardless, it's a very nice interior. And it's nice to drive too. Very smooth in these shifts. And it's a comfortable place to be. Any bumps in the roads are virtually non-existent because it gives you that smooth and refined drive that you are looking for, especially at this price point and with a luxury brand like Audi. But it seems to be something that would be an excellent daily driver. Visibility while we're out on the road now is very easy to see. We got some thin pillars here, and then a little bit different design looking over both shoulders compared to the X5. But regardless, the windows are pretty large, so it's fairly easy to see all around. But it's a quick vehicle. It gets up and moves for that turbo V6. I think it's got a healthy amount of power to it. And again, it would make for a great daily driver. We do have the blind spot as well, which is nice to see. But let's work our way into the X5. And now behind the X5 sport mode, we have the manual setting here. Here we go. You can definitely hear a little bit more of that exhaust. Not quite as loud. There are no controls in this particular model like the higher up trim levels that you can get with the X5. But now this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the all-new X5 with the new tech and everything, even the lighting, which I think is a cool feature. But as far as getting up and getting to the speed limit, paddles are very responsive, just like you would feel in the Audi. So I think it's very cool that both of these luxury brands do offer sporty driving characteristics for being pretty large SUVs. Now, if you are new to the channel, I do personally own an X5. I do like both of them. However, I did like the X5 a little bit more with some of the features just for my personal taste. But I have nothing against Audi because I do own an R8 as well. So I do have an Audi and a BMW, and I really do like both of them. So it really just boils down to your personal preference for both of these vehicles. And with this model, you are going to get a very nice ride. It's absorbing all these bumps very well. We do get the head-up display, which I think is a huge bonus over the Audi. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, but it's definitely something that is nice to have. Visibility, we have some thinner pillars here and a little bit different of a view over both shoulders. But I will say the BMW is going to be more sporty. You can get some higher trim levels with the Audi, but I do think that BMW has more performance-oriented vehicles versus Audi. And so if you want a little bit more sporty of a vehicle, you go with the BMW. If you want a little bit more kind of laid back in a sense. With both of the test drives wrapped up for the BMW X5 and the Audi Q8, honestly, I don't really have any negatives to say about either one. Like I mentioned, I do own an X5. I've had it for a few months. So far, so good. I really don't have any complaints with it. Same with the Audi. I have been able to drive these for a while. I own an Audi myself. Not the same one, of course, but both of them are going to have pros and cons. Once I have my X5 a little bit longer, I'll be able to see if there are any things that I dislike about it. But right off the bat, we have two very comparable luxury-focused SUVs. X5 is going to be a little bit more sporty. Q5 is going to be a little bit less sporty, a little bit kind of more refined in a sense. BMW is definitely a well-refined brand too. So it really just boils down to which exterior do you like better, which interior do you like better, and of course how you feel once you get behind the wheel. Once you know it's your car, you will definitely be able to tell that it's what you are going to enjoy. So comment down below, which vehicle would you pick and why, BMW or Audi? Let me know. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.